What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA Wednesday, January 31st. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, so we have a 9-game slate tonight. So let's take a look at the point guard position. So I like James Harden from the LA Clippers playing the Washington Wizards, who have the worst defense overall, give up the second most fantasy points to opposing point guards. James Harden averaging 40.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 21% usage rate. He's projected at 37 fantasy points here tonight, but I think he can score 45 plus fantasy points and get you over 5 times value. And I think he's got 50, 60 plus fantasy point upside in this matchup. So he's only 8,500 DraftKings salary. He's 100 less on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 238 points scored in this game. And James Harden has scored 40, 29, and 63 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 38, 26, and 34 minutes. So it's a fantastic matchup and a high scoring game, and James Harden has scored 45, 62, 49, and 62 fantasy points in his last 4 games versus the Wizards. So I like James Harden here versus the Washington Wizards. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. So I like Bradley Beal from the Phoenix Suns playing the Brooklyn Nets, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, give up the 10th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards. Bradley Beal averaging 31.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 33 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. Now, he's projected at 33.2 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5 times value. 6,600 DraftKings salary, 900 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 233.5 points scored in this game. Bradley Beal has scored 40, 24, and 23 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 38, 35, and 34 minutes. So he's playing heavy minutes. We know he's got some monster upside if he gets going. I like his price tag. I think he can hit value here. Then he could drop a 40, 45 fantasy points here and crush value. So I like Bradley Beal here versus the Brooklyn Nets. Now, if you don't like Bradley Beal, you can take a look at Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat playing the Sacramento Kings, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, middle-of-the-pack defending opposing shooting guards. But Tyler Hero here, he's averaging 37.1 fantasy points per game on the season, so averaging significantly more than Bradley Beal. And he's playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate, projected at 34.1 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.2 times value. So he's 6,500 DraftKings salary, 600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 229.5 points scored in this game. And Tyler Hero, good success here versus the Kings, scored 51, 39, 36, 34, and 38 fantasy points in his last 5 games versus the Kings. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. So I would say Tyler Hero, probably a better play here. Probably on both sites. He's cheaper on both sites. But Bradley Beal, I think, definitely has that 40-plus fantasy point upside. Got a little bit more upside. Tyler Hero, a little bit more of a safe play here. Both of them good picks. So I like Tyler Hero here versus the Sacramento Kings. Then you also got Jalen Green here from the Houston Rockets. So you got some good mid-range plays here at the shooting guard position. These guys also eligible at point guard, so lots of options there. Now let's take a look at the small forward position. So I like Jimmy Butler. I think he's a little underpriced here tonight from the Miami Heat, playing the Sacramento Kings, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing small forwards. Jimmy Butler, averaging 36.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. He's projected at 36.6 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value, 7,200 DraftKings salary, 1,000 more on FanDuel. So I love that DraftKings price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 229.5 points scored in this game. Jimmy Butler has scored 45, 51, 31 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 37, 36, and 29 minutes. So certainly seems underpriced here on DraftKings. Scored 34, 44, 36, and 49 fantasy points in his last 5 games versus the Kings. So I like Jimmy Butler here versus the Sacramento Kings. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. So I like Kawhi Leonard from the LA Clippers, playing the Washington Wizards, who have the absolute worst defense overall, give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Kawhi Leonard, averaging 42.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 26% usage rate, projected at 40.8 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. Only 8,200 DraftKings salary. He is 1,000 more on FanDuel. Again, I love that DraftKings price. Vegas thinks there's going to be 238 points scored in this game. Kawhi Leonard has scored 49, 46, and 36 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 36, 29, and 30 minutes. So fantastic matchup, underpriced on DraftKings. Scored 51 fantasy points in his last game versus the Wizards. So I like Kawhi Leonard here versus the Washington Wizards. Okay, moving on to the center position. I like Alperen Sengun. I also like Karl Anthony Towns. Let's see if I have any other centers. Now, those are the 2 guys I got for you. So let me go over Karl Anthony Towns. Actually, take a look at this. I knew there was a better center pick, and I just spotted him. So take a look at Jarrett Allen from the Cleveland Cavaliers, playing the Detroit Pistons, who have the 4th worst defense overall, give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing centers. Now, Jarrett Allen averaging 36.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 31 minutes per game with a 19% usage rate. Now, the reason I missed him on my first pass over is because he's only projected at 31.6 fantasy points here tonight. That seems super low. So let's just play it safe and just put his projection as 36.8, which is his season average. Considering this is a fantastic matchup, he could easily go for 40 plus fantasy points here tonight. But let's be conservative here. So that's 4.8 times value. So he's 7,700 DraftKings salary, 800 more on FanDuel. But I like this pick because Vegas thinks there's going to be 229 points scored in this game. It's a good matchup. And Jarrett Allen scored 50, 49, and 45 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 36, 35, and 31 minutes. So consistent minutes, consistent production. So I think he has a chance to put up 50 plus fantasy points in this matchup at a low price tag. So I like Jarrett Allen here versus the Detroit Pistons. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.